The vast conference hall of the Galactic Council hummed with an electric tension, its crystalline walls reflecting the contemptuous gazes of assembled alien representatives. Humans, seated at the far end of the massive circular chamber, represented nothing more than a curiosity, a primitive species barely worthy of acknowledgement. Captain J. Park sat motionless, his dark eyes scanning the room with a calculated calm that contrasted sharply with the nervous fidgeting of his diplomatic team. Around him, delegates from advanced civilizations whispered and chuckled, their translators carrying waves of mockery that washed over the human delegation. "Another report of human technological inadequacy," announced Coordinator Prex, a towering, crystalline being whose multiple faceted surfaces shifted with disdainful colors. A holographic display materialized, showing humanity's modest space exploration achievements, small probes, limited colony attempts, and rudimentary, faster-than-light prototypes. The room erupted in laughter, soft, high-pitched sounds from insectoid representatives, deep rumbling chuckles from gas-based entities, melodic derision from energy-form delegates. Humanity was a joke, a footnote in galactic history. Commander Yuna Kim, seated next to Park, gripped her datapad tightly. Her knuckles were white, but her face remained perfectly composed. She knew something the others did not, something that would change everything, Prex continued, his voice dripping with condescension. The human species demonstrates consistent technological limitations. Their genetic structure appears unstable, their adaptive capabilities minimal. Recommendation, continued observation, potential quarantine. Park's lips curved into the slightest hint of a smile that went unnoticed by the jeering representatives, a smile that held a universe of secrets. The human delegation represented decades of calculated preparation. While other civilizations saw weakness, they saw opportunity. While others mocked, they had been studying, learning, developing technologies that would redefine galactic understanding. Humans have demonstrated no significant advancements in quantum manipulation, continued another delegate, a serpentine creature whose scales shifted with each contemptuous word. Their computational models remain primitive, their energy harvesting techniques inefficient. Each criticism was another layer of camouflage, another moment of strategic concealment. The humans listened, absorbed, and remained silent. Commander Kim subtly tapped a sequence on her datapad, a signal that would resonate through hidden communication channels. Preparations were nearly complete. The galaxy's mockery would soon transform into absolute astonishment. Captain Park observed the room. Alien delegates represented civilizations thousands of years older, with technologies that seemed like magic. Crystalline beings who could restructure their molecular composition. Energy entities that traversed dimensions. Gaseous life forms that communicated through complex molecular vibrations, and yet they saw only what humanity wanted them to see. The conference continued, a theater of galactic politics where humans played the role of the perpetual underdog. Recommendations were made about human technological restrictions, potential developmental interventions, and continued observation. Little did they know that every word, every dismissive gesture was being meticulously recorded, analyzed, and integrated into humanity's grand strategy. As the session concluded, delegates began to disperse. Holographic displays flickered, translation, matrices hummed, and the vast chamber began to empty. The human delegation remained seated, calm and unremarkable. Captain J. Park stood slowly, collecting his documents. To any observer, he appeared ordinary, a mid-level bureaucrat attending a routine meeting. His movements were deliberate, his expression neutral. Commander Yuna Kim followed, her steps measured and controlled. They would return to their ship, to their hidden research stations, to the next phase of a plan decades in the making. The galaxy continued to mock humanity's fears. But soon, very soon, everything would change. As they departed the chamber, no one noticed the subtle quantum signature that rippled from Captain Park's data module, a signature that would become the first whisper of humanity's true potential. Deep within Jupiter's orbital research complex, a massive structure hummed with quiet intensity. Dr. Seok Han stood before an array of holographic displays, his fingers moving with surgical precision across quantum interface panels. The room was cold, sterile, a perfect environment for humanity's most guarded secret. The Shroud project wasn't just a technology. It was humanity's insurance policy against galactic dismissal. Engineer Yoon Choi adjusted quantum interference algorithms, her eyes darting between multiple data streams. Massive cooling systems maintained an impossible temperature, keeping experimental quantum processors from overheating. Each circuit, each microscopic component represented years of hidden research. Admiral Wu Jin watched from a reinforced observation deck. He understood the stakes. This wasn't just about technological advancement. This was about survival. Quantum entanglement is holding at 97.3% stability, Yoon whispered, her voice breaking the laboratory's intense silence. Dr. Han nodded, a rare smile crossing his typically serious face. Months of work had led to this moment. The Shroud was designed as a complete systems disruption technology, something far beyond traditional electromagnetic interference. It could essentially delete technological systems, rewrite computational matrices, and neutralize entire fleet communications in microseconds. The research team had studied every known alien technological signature: crystalline computational systems, energy-based communication networks, molecular information storage. Each alien civilization's technology had been meticulously mapped, analyzed, and now prepared to be completely compromised. Initial simulation shows complete network collapse in 0.03 seconds, Yun reported. Her fingers danced across holographic interfaces, revealing complex mathematical models that represented potential technological takedowns. Dr. Han understood the philosophical implications. Humanity wasn't just developing a weapon. They were creating a universal technological reset button. Years of seeming technological weakness had been a carefully constructed illusion. While alien civilizations believed humans were struggling with basic space exploration, secret research facilities like this one were rewriting the rules of galactic technological engagement. The quantum processors began to pulse, soft blue lights, indicating complex computational processes happening simultaneously across multiple dimensional frameworks. What looked like simple research equipment was actually the most advanced technological platform ever created by human hands. Admiral Wu Jin's communication device chirped. A coded message from the diplomatic team confirmed their continued strategic misdirection. The Galactic Council still viewed humanity as a minor, inconsequential species. Perfect. Quantum entanglement protocols are stabilizing, Yoon announced. Dr. Han approached the main computational core, his hands moving across specialized protective interfaces. The Shroud wasn't just a defensive technology. It was a complete paradigm shift, a way to instantly neutralize any technological threat, regardless of its complexity or origin. Alien civilizations had developed technologies that seemed like magic. Humanity was about to show them true technological magic. Holographic displays began showing complex simulations, entire alien fleet communication networks collapsing, technological systems becoming instantaneously inert, complete network shutdowns happening faster than biological systems could even comprehend threat. "We're ready for initial large-scale testing," Dr. Han said quietly. His words carried the weight of decades of secret research, of humanity's most ambitious technological project. The research facility continued its quiet work. Outside, Jupiter's massive form rotated slowly, a silent witness to humanity's most important secret. Cooling systems maintained impossible temperatures. Quantum processors continued their complex dance. The Shroud was ready. The Vortian battle fleet approached human outer colonies with terrifying precision. Massive ships, each larger than small moons, moved silently through the darkness of space. Their commanders believed victory was certain, humanity's destruction inevitable. Lieutenant Dae Kim watched from the advanced human monitoring station. His fingers hovered above the primary activation panel, waiting for the precise moment. The alien fleet's communication networks blazed with arrogant chatter. Vortian commanders discussed how quickly they would eliminate human settlements, how complete their victory would be. They saw humans as nothing more than a minor obstacle, a species to be erased without significant effort. They were wrong. High Park, the navigation specialist, tracked the incoming fleet with calculated calm. Her eyes moved between multiple holographic displays, each showing detailed information about the approaching ships. Weapon signatures, energy outputs, computational matrices, everything was being analyzed in microseconds. Shroud activation. Sequence is ready, she whispered. The first Vortian ships entered weapon range, their massive energy cannons powered up, preparing to obliterate human colony platforms. Thousands of plasma-based weapons charged, ready to turn human settlements into cosmic dust. Lieutenant Kim's finger touched the activation panel. Suddenly, everything stopped. The Shroud activated, not as a weapon, but as a complete technological nullification system. Every single Vortian ship's computational system simultaneously collapsed. Navigation computers became meaningless strings of dead code. Weapon systems transformed into inert metal. Communication networks dissolved into pure static. Massive warships, moments ago prepared for total destruction, now drifted like massive, lifeless rocks. The human colonies watched in stunned silence. What should have been a massacre became something else entirely, a demonstration of technological superiority, so complete it defied comprehension. Dae Kim's smile was cold, calculated. Years of preparation had led to this moment. The galaxy had mocked humanity's technological capabilities. Now humanity would show its true potential. Vortian fleet commanders tried desperately to restart their systems. Emergency protocols activated. Backup communication channels attempted to establish contact. Nothing worked. The Shroud had completely erased their technological infrastructure. Complete system neutralization confirmed, High Park reported, her voice steady. Entire fleets became cosmic graveyards. Thousands of ships, representing generations of Vortian technological development, now drifted silently. No weapons, no communications, no life support. The first strike was complete. Chai continued monitoring the situation. Computational models predicted total Vortian fleet destruction within hours. Without functioning life support, without ability to communicate or navigate, their fate was sealed. Lieutenant Kim transmitted a single encrypted message back to Central Command. 3 words that would change galactic history. Shroud, mission, accomplished. Human monitoring stations across the outer colonies began collecting data. Every moment of the technological takedown was being recorded, analyzed, prepared for future strategic planning. The Vortian fleet, once considered an unstoppable military force, had been completely neutralized without firing a single human weapon. Dae Kim leaned back in his command chair. The galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had just demonstrated that technological superiority wasn't about having the biggest weapons, but about having the most intelligent approach to conflict. Chai Park began preparing initial reports. Detailed computational analyses would show exactly how the Shroud had achieved such complete system destruction. Every alien civilization would soon study these reports in terrified fascination. Outside the monitoring station, stars continued their silent dance. Destroyed Vortian ships drifted like massive, lifeless monuments to humanity's unexpected technological might. The Galactic Council chamber fell silent. Where moments before there had been constant chatter and diplomatic posturing, now only shock remained. Diplomat Sung Choi stood at the center of the massive circular platform. His hands were clasped behind his back, his posture calm and measured. Around him, representatives from dozens of alien civilizations stared in disbelief. The holographic display showed the complete destruction of the Vortian fleet. Not a single shot fired from human weapons. No physical damage, just total technological collapse. Min Park, the strategic analyst seated behind Sung, maintained a perfect poker face. Years of preparation had led to this moment. The moment humanity would redefine galactic power dynamics. The technological demonstration was not an act of aggression, Sung began, his voice clear and precise. It was a defensive response to an unprovoked attack on human colonies. Crystalline delegates shifted uncomfortably. Gaseous representatives leaked nervous chemical signals. Energy-based life forms fluctuated with confusion. The Vortian representative, reduced to a holographic projection, looked defeated. Their entire military infrastructure had been erased in microseconds. Generations of technological development, gone. How is this possible? Demanded a serpentine diplomat, its scales shifting with agitation. Sung's smile was subtle. Technological adaptation, he said simply. Min began projecting additional data. Detailed breakdowns of the Shroud technology, not to reveal its secrets, but to demonstrate humanity's extraordinary capabilities. Each slide showed another layer of complex quantum manipulation that defied traditional understanding. The Galactic Council had always viewed humans as primitive. Now they realized their mistake. We are prepared to discuss terms of technological non-aggression, Sung continued. His words were measured, diplomatic. But the underlying message was clear. Humanity was no longer a species to be overlooked. Alien representatives began private communications. Quantum encryption channels buzzed with urgent discussions. What other capabilities might humans be hiding? Min watched the diplomatic dance. Every movement, every reaction was being analyzed. Humanity had transformed from a potential victim to a major strategic power in less than 48 hours. The Vortian representative attempted to protest, to claim some form of diplomatic compensation. Sung simply raised one hand, a gesture that somehow communicated complete dismissal. Your fleet entered human space with clear aggressive intent, he said. The response was proportional and defensive. Holographic displays continued showing the Shroud's capabilities. Not as a weapon, but as a technological shield so advanced it could neutralize entire fleet systems without physical conflict. Diplomatic protocols were being rewritten in real time. Humanity was no longer a footnote. They were a major player. The session continued for hours. Negotiations, discussions, subtle threats, and complex diplomatic maneuvers. But the underlying reality was clear. Everything had changed. Min leaned toward Sung, whispering, Phase 1 complete. Sung's response was equally quiet. Just the beginning. Outside the council chamber, stars continued their silent dance. Alien, civilizations that had spent thousands of years developing complex technologies, now realized a supposedly primitive species had leapfrogged their entire technological understanding. The Shroud was more than a technology. It was a statement. Humanity would no longer be ignored. As the diplomatic session concluded, representatives from various civilizations looked at the human delegation with a mixture of fear, respect, and pure astonishment. The galaxy had been recalibrated, and humanity was now at the center of that new understanding. President Ji-Wan Lee stood before the holographic display, watching decades of carefully constructed planning unfold. The Shroud was never just a weapon. It was humanity's ultimate insurance policy. Chief strategist Kang Huang reviewed the final computational models. What the galaxy saw as technological weakness had been a deliberate, generations-long strategy of absolute misdirection. For centuries, humans had appeared technologically limited. Space exploration seemed slow. Military developments appeared minimal. Other civilizations watched and laughed, believing humans were struggling to advance. They never understood the truth. Every seemingly failed experiment was a data point. Every technological setback was a carefully planned misdirection. Humanity had been studying alien technologies, collecting information, building a comprehensive understanding of galactic computational systems. The Shroud represented more than a defensive mechanism. It was a complete galactic stabilization platform. We were never weak, Kang said quietly. We were waiting. Holographic displays began showing complex layers of technological development, quantum computing breakthroughs, molecular information storage techniques, complete computational network reconstruction capabilities. Humanity had been playing a game of absolute strategic patience. The Vortian fleet destruction was just the first demonstration. Other alien civilizations would soon understand that humanity could neutralize any technological threat without firing a single traditional weapon. President Lee reviewed the diplomatic communications. Alien representatives were demanding explanations, seeking understanding. But humanity would reveal only what they chose to reveal. Total technological neutralization capability confirmed, a computer system announced. Kang's computational models showed something extraordinary. The Shroud could potentially stabilize entire galactic conflict zones. Not by destroying systems, but by creating a universal technological reset mechanism that prevented sustained conflict. Humanity had transformed from a potential victim to a galactic peacekeeping force. The strategy had been decades in the making. While other civilizations developed increasingly complex weapons, humans had been developing a technology that could make those weapons instantly irrelevant. Communication. Channels across multiple star systems began analyzing the Shroud's capabilities. Fear mixed with respect. Confusion transformed into reluctant admiration. "We are not conquerors," President Lee would later explain in a historic address. "We are stabilizers." The ultimate revelation was simple. Humanity's apparent technological weakness had been the most sophisticated camouflage in galactic history. Every major alien civilization now understood a fundamental truth. Humans were not just another species. They were a strategic force that could fundamentally alter galactic dynamics with a few lines of quantum code. Kang continued reviewing computational models. The Shroud could potentially prevent entire wars. Not through traditional peacekeeping, but by creating a universal technological language that made sustained conflict mathematically impossible. President Lee's communication device chirped. Diplomatic requests were flooding in from across known space. Everyone wanted to understand humanity's capabilities, but humanity would reveal only what they chose to reveal. The stars outside seemed to watch silently. Generations of human researchers, strategists, and scientists had worked toward this moment. A moment when humanity would step from the shadows of galactic perception. "We are ready," Kang whispered. The galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had not just changed the rules. They had rewritten the entire game.